After you've completed our Quick Start Guide to launch your first lead campaign, our Quick Start Guide will no longer be available. Instead, to add or edit lead campaigns going forward, you will navigate to Campaigns, Lead. Once you navigate to Lead Campaigns, in order to edit your lead campaign, you will click the edit icon next to the campaign you'd like to edit. The first lead campaign you created using our Quick Start Guide will be named Default Campaign, which you can rename at any time. For example, let's rename our first lead campaign to My First Campaign. When you are done editing a lead campaign, you will simply need to click the Update button to save your changes. Since editing a lead campaign and creating a new lead campaign is a similar process, let's walk through how to add a new lead campaign. To add a new lead campaign, which is only available on paid plans, you can click the Add Lead Campaign button from the Lead Campaigns page. On the first step, Basic Info, you will give your lead campaign a name to uniquely identify it in the future. On this step, you will also select a campaign status. A campaign status of Active means this campaign is eligible to deliver new leads based on the filter criteria specified. Setting your lead campaign status to Inactive means that your lead campaign will not deliver new leads. Setting the lead campaign status to Archived will disable lead collection and also remove the lead campaign from your list of lead campaigns in order to remove clutter. However, you can always view your archived lead campaigns at any time by selecting the Archived status from the Campaign Status filter drop-down on the lead campaigns list. The next step, Scheduling, is optional. However, if you'd like to run a lead campaign for a defined period of time, you can set this up here by setting a start date or end date for the lead campaign. For example, if you wanted to only collect leads during a holiday such as Christmas, you would set the start and end dates to only run this lead campaign during this period. For the Audiences step, Step 3, you will need to select at least one pixel audience for your lead campaign. If you haven't added additional pixels, you will only see the default pixel, which we automatically created for you when you navigated our Quick Start Guide. However, in this particular case, we created a second pixel in the Audiences section, which you can learn more about in our Audiences Pixels video overview. Here we want this new lead campaign to only target this second pixel, named Second Website, so we are going to click the checkbox next to this pixel. You'll notice that when we select this pixel audience, a filter icon appears to allow you to filter visitors based on the pages visited, as well as more advanced options when you click this icon. For more information on audience filtering, please see our YouTube video on campaign audience filtering. If you select a pixel that has already collected leads, you will see an audience date filter warning, allowing you to select whether you want to include the previously collected leads in this campaign. Selecting the Include All option will include all previously collected leads, while selecting the Only New option will only target new leads going forward. In general, for lead campaigns, we highly recommend selecting the Only New option, so your billing plan is not charged for redelivery of existing leads, although there are edge use cases to select the Include All option. If you receive this filter warning, once you select the Include All or Only New option, you will click the Confirm button on this step to enable the Next button to navigate to the next step. Otherwise, you will simply click the Next button to navigate to the next step. Please note that on the Audiences step, you can select multiple pixel audiences if you have more than one setup. If you have multiple pixel audiences set up and don't need to route these leads separately, we recommend having a single lead campaign and selecting all pixel audiences. However, if you have multiple pixel audiences and need to route leads differently, we recommend setting up separate lead campaigns for each pixel audience you have created. For the suppression step, Step 4, we support the ability to suppress against existing customers or subscribers. This can be based on their email address, or it could be based on their name and mailing address, which we call CRM data. In our Audiences video module, you'll find an overview on how to create new audiences and ways to push this data into our system for suppression. For this particular lead campaign, we are going to select My CRM Customer List, which is a CRM audience we previously created. While suppressions are optional, using suppressions will prevent our system from delivering existing customers or subscribers, so these do not collect these as leads and they do not apply toward your billing plan usage. On step 5, geofilters, you can restrict lead collection to specific geographic areas. If you have a regional business or are doing regional targeting, geofilters are highly recommended. Here you can select the option to filter by state or zip code like you saw in our quick start guide. When selecting the option to filter by state, you will enter or paste in the state abbreviations to target. When selecting the option to filter by zip code, you will enter or paste in the 5-digit zip codes to target. For B2C clients, the geofilters are based on the lead's home mailing address. For B2B clients, geofilters are based on the IP geolocation of the website visitor and are not tied to their home nor company mailing address. On step 6, the data step, this section largely mirrors the data step of the quick start guide. The first setting is data priority, which only applies to B2C accounts. This setting allows you to specify which consumer data you always want to receive. The default option is to always receive the name and home address of the visitor and include their email address where available. The next option is to always receive the email address of the visitor and the name and home address where available. The final option is to always receive both the email address and the name and home address of the visitor. Note that selecting this option may reduce match volume. The delivery frequency setting allows you to specify how often you would like us to deliver new leads collected. The default option is to deliver new leads every 5 minutes. With this option selected, if we identify a lead that meets all your requirements, this lead will be delivered 5 minutes after this lead is identified. The other options are every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes, hourly, every 2 hours, and daily. Selecting a longer delivery delay may be useful if you are trying to exclude visitors who take action, such as making a purchase or submitting an inquiry form. The resend option setting controls whether you would like to receive a lead again if they return to your website in the future. The default option is if the system delivers a lead today, and that visitor returns to your website after 30 days and meets all your filters, this lead would be delivered again. The other options are to deliver the return visitor if they come back after 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, 1 year, or to never resend leads regardless of when they come back to your website. The final option, which only applies to B2C accounts, is appends. For B2C leads, we have the ability to append demographic data to leads, which may be useful for filtering and segmentation in your marketing efforts. When selecting to append demographic data, it should be noted that additional charges will be incurred per successful append, which you can learn more about on our pricing page. When adding a new lead campaign, once you have completed all the steps, you will click the Add button to save your new lead campaign. If you are editing an existing lead campaign, you will click the Update button to save your changes.